We're coming to you live from your mother's basement. Welcome back to the Phenom Part 2 League, DEUX. Yeah. Can we change the name of that? I don't like the name, I don't think. I don't. But anyway, this is the Week 3 recap. There were some epic matchups this week, some hard-fought battles. And I don't know, this is a crazy week. This week's matchup, Tatanka Blanco versus Willie Nelson. Let's just get to the predictions. I did pick Tatanka Blanco, which is myself, by the way. My name is Lloyd. I'm one of the top flight fantasy guys in all of the world. They've talked about me on internet shows. I'm in magazines. Even if you Google me in other parts of the world, it still says it even there. And that's a thing. So anyway, this week I played Fat Fingers Willie Nelson. So the projection was only 5, but let's go into it really fast. It's not that big a deal. To be honest, it was actually a hard-fought battle. It was a lot closer than I thought it would be. And so I did pull out the victory, but it was very close. So we'll move on to the next game, Rebuilding Season versus Downtown St. Brown. Downtown St. Brown, now this was one of those matchups that I was nervous for. I was like, oh, this is going to be a big one because Mitchell, who's usually not good, he's actually 2-1. And crazy because the one year that Triple BJ was in the league, Downtown St. Brown, the one year he did actually pretty good, made the playoffs. I don't remember how far the run was, but Rebuilding Season is not that good at fantasy, and he's 2-1. And guess what? Mitchell, Rebuilding Season won 108-95. Downtown Brown is 0-3, which is about par. It leads me to believe that it was beginner's luck the first year because he really wasn't hot. He lost a lot of games, and now being 0-3, whew, that's bad. That is right up there with Rusty. And did Rusty even win a game? I'd have to get to it. I don't know. I don't want to look ahead. I don't want to spoil anything. But 0-3 for Downtown Brown. You should subscribe to my fantasy channel that talks about the top pickups of the week, waiver wires, strategies, the 3-week look ahead. You should always be looking ahead 3 weeks. It's just strategy stuff. You probably don't get it based on your score or your record. You're 0-3. I know that you don't do much thinking as far as fantasy goes, but I'll just go into it really fast. This particular week, Dak Prescott outscored himself, by 12 points. Jonathan Taylor had a big week finally, 10 points ahead of what he was projected. Justin Jefferson, 2 more points, 6 more points for Rashee Rice. Those kind of things were the difference for you, Mitchell. I don't know how you got your team to perform because I know that you normally don't. Lamar Jackson, 5 more. Now let's go back to Triple BJ. Lamar Jackson, 5 more points than you were supposed to. Zach Charbonnet, I think that's how you say his name. Nobody actually knows because nobody's ever heard of him. He plays for Seattle, and nobody's ever heard of most of their players. But he actually scored 11 more points than he was supposed to. Did I get that right? No, I got it wrong. He scored 9 more points than he was supposed to, which is wild for a guy nobody's ever heard of. It's like him and Zach Moss went to school together that nobody's ever heard of, and now they're just in the league. St. Brown's 2 more points than he was supposed to, but really the rest of your lineup was kind of disappointing. You were projected 97, he scored 95. Mitchell, you were projected 99 and scored 108. Big win for you, Mitchell. That's good for you. I really see you going places in the future. For a guy who I didn't really see a lot of places to be gone to, but I'm starting to not drink the Kool-Aid totally, but apparently you're better this year than I remembered. So bye week, oh, God dang it. Like how I say sometimes I can't even count that high. This is basically one of those. This is like good. It's terrible. 34th. Is it 37 points? Did you give me my 37 points bye week? I'm sorry, this week. Let me get into it. I'm skipping ahead because I can't believe what I'm looking at. Bye week, who I bragged you up after, I think, week 1. I'm like, oh, man, he's so good probably, or his lineup looked good, which was a lie. DeMardiac arrest. He doesn't go 0-3. Excuse me. I think I skipped what I actually projected this game at because I did project myself to win the first game, as I said. Triple BJ. Oh, shoot. I did not say that. Triple BJ, you went 0-3 and you let me down. Side note. But I passed. I've already talked about you. You're old news, apparently. So, anyway, bye week, you played DeMardiac arrest. I had bye week by 2. I missed that one, too. But that's because I just didn't feel like Will had it. I feel like it was just an off year for him. But, here he is making a push like he always probably does. You may wind up in the playoffs. You are 1-2. You both are now. But here's basically how this unfolded. C.J. Stroud, terrible week. Anybody that had Houston or was going for him, bad. Devon Achane, bad. He scored way less than he was supposed to. Ramondre Stevenson sucks. Jamar Chase outscored what he was supposed to by 11. And then you have Godwin, who scored 2 more points than he was supposed to. That's you bye week. But you only scored 67 points, and that's terrible. I think you got doubled up. That's bad. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we'll never hear from you. Let's go to Jalen Hurts, DeMartiac arrest. Imagine if Jalen Hurts didn't suck, what you would have scored this week. If it was Jalen Hurts of old, I mean, you'd have completely destroyed. Bye week would have quit if you had the talent that you were supposed to have at quarterback. Derrick Henry, honestly, he scored a whole lot more than he was supposed to, but it is Derrick Henry, so in reality, he scored really what he was supposed to. He just hasn't been the regular Derrick Henry the first 2 weeks. James Conner, way underscored. Harrison scored 2 more than he was supposed to. Neighbors, apparently he's for real. He scored 10 more points than he was supposed to. And then you had Jets D that really helped drive it home. But to be honest, if any of those guys that had your bigger numbers and scored more than they were supposed to, you still would have won. You're projected 96. He scored 104. Here's bye week is really the one who shit the bed. He was at 99 and he scored 67 points. So not good, not good at all. And got to give that to you, DeMartiac arrest. You are 1-2, but I don't have much hope yet. You got to put it together at least 2 weeks in a row. Moving forward to the game of the week, or my game of the week. The Wizard apparently smokes doobies, and he doesn't. I don't know where he's at Oz or whatever. But mixing the sauce versus Wrecking Crew. This was the game of the week. But let me just switch over to what my prediction was. Apparently, we need to get the Wizard back because I predicted Mixon to win by 2. That completely did not happen. That wasn't even almost close. This is bad. I missed that one by 19 points, to be honest. Wrecking Crew killed Mixing the Sauce. You are 2-1, but Wrecking Crew is 3-0. And just rolling forward. So here, Mixing the Sauce, I don't know how you scored 59 points. You have Patrick Mahomes. On a typical week last year, he would have scored 30, which would have been half your score. He was projected 24. He scored 20, so not far off his total. You have Robinson, who scored 2 less. Cam Akers scored 1 less. As a matter of fact, CeeDee Lamb scored 7 less. As a matter of fact, maybe for the first time in my analysis of doing these games, Mixing the Sauce, every single one of your players underperformed. And to be honest, Double Trouble, it's because I just don't think you're that good at fantasy. Apparently, it was a fluke deal that you beat me. Honestly, you should be 1-2. Somehow you pulled off one last week. Yeah, but you did get annihilated. I don't even know. It's because I wanted to believe in you because I know you made deep runs. I also know Wrecking Crew, Cody's made deep runs also. But he doesn't have a lineup that jumps off the page for me. He's going to say he does, but I don't think so. But you know what? Let's go someplace. He had Baker Mayfield as quarterback, who's 11 less points than he was supposed to be. Bijan Robinson underscored. I mean, honestly, you had Kincaid, who scored 4 more than he was supposed to. Why can't I talk? 4 more than he was supposed to. Gibbs scored 5 more than he was supposed to. Steelers scored 5 more than he was supposed to. You only have 3-4 guys. For this to be game of the week, guys, this was terrible scoring. 59-78. But hey, listen, I got to hand it to you. You're 3-0. And it doesn't really matter how you get the wins. It just matters if you get them. So if I won by 1, I'd be bragging it up too. Good for you, Wrecking Crew. One of the top games. Real. It was a snoozer, guys. It was a real snoozer, but it was game of the week. It's weird that the game of the week was the worst scoring of all. But anyway, here we go. Red Nuts versus Metcalf or Pitts. Let me just check this one. I know who I had. Red Nuts versus Metcalf. Actually, on my notes it says Red versus Sucks. So that's what it says. I don't remember if I typed the notes or not, but I have Red by 30 on that. So when I look at this, Red won by 60. Can I even? I hate it when I can't even count that high. To be honest, 62 points. Is that what it is? So you lost by 62. First of all, I didn't remember that you were defeated, not undefeated, defeated only. You were 0-3 and you lost by 62 points, which, to be honest, I know that you don't like what I say when I say you're the worst player, but I don't know how else to word it. I really don't. I mean, this year, if you and St. Brown, as a matter of fact, if when you guys meet up, it's going to be the game of the week because somebody has to get a win. Somebody's changing their life that day, and somebody is going to wish that they weren't because this is bad. This is really bad, guys. Anyway, here we go. Red Nuts, you were projected 100 points. You scored 119. For you, Metcalf or Pitts, you were projected at 82. You scored 57. That's about par for the course. Brock Purdy scored more points than he was supposed to, 9 more. Saquon Barkley went nuts, scored way more than he was supposed to. Olave, 4 more. James Cook, right where he was supposed to be, and the rest of them kind of snoozers. Seahawk defense doubled their totals. But here you are, Metcalf or Pitts. If you're wondering, you have Kyler Murray, 5 less points than he was supposed to. David Montgomery actually scored a lot more than he was supposed to. But then, as I made fun of Bucky Irving last week, and I still kind of stand by it, he did score 8 points, but it's Bucky Irving. And Devonta Smith, less than. All the rest of them are less than. Terrible total, terrible game, boring matchup. I was probably a snoozer from the start. And so that's it, guys. That's our week 3 recap. I'm sorry for some of you guys that you're not as good as others. There's nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean? This is bad deal for you guys. Some of you guys are really rocking and rolling. So once again, thanks for listening in to the week 3 recap. And well, I guess there's one more. We should do one more. Should do a little analysis. Tatanka Blanco versus Willie Nelson. Yeah, I did win, as I stated earlier. I am 2-1 on the year. I should be 3-0. It was a fluke, as we said, when Double Trouble beat me. Played Willie Nelson. He's now 1-2. Let me do the projections here because I think I projected myself by 3. I believe I said earlier 3 or 5. I'm not going to rehash it. But as I'm looking at the totals here, let's see. Willie Nelson scored 64 on the week. Let's go over yours first. Anthony Richardson, prime back, future Hall of Famer, just played a little less than he was supposed to. Not that big a deal. Underperformed, but I know he'll be back next week. He's been solid this year. Breece Hall just a little under, 3 under. Zach Moss really went nuts, especially for a guy that nobody's ever heard of. And the rest of them were pretty much under. He scored 64 points. You were projected 98. Let's just say that you hit 98, right? That'd be a solid projection. But then Tatanka Blanco, where'd they go? Josh Allen, he scored 38 points. I'm just doing the math there. He almost scored as much as your whole team by himself. So he overperformed by 13. Then we have Kyron Williams. He overperformed by 14. Josh Jacobs was less than by 10. But then Deontay Johnson comes out of nowhere because you have future Hall of Famer Andy Dalton. You know, everybody knows he's going to the Hall. We all know it, and he's just came back to prove it. That's all that happened. And now he's got a new number 1 receiver, Deontay Johnson. Scored 11 more than he was supposed to, but I have a lot of vision, so I knew that was going to happen. And then I picked up Juwan Jennings. He was projected 7. He only scored 35. Once again, I had vision. I believe that I said in the week 3 predictions that he's going to be the next Jerry Rice, and turns out I was not far off, as it turns out. Scored 3 touchdowns. I don't remember his totals. I'm not going to pull it up. It takes too long for the internet, but I was pretty right that he's like Jerry Rice. And let's see, then pretty much my entire lineup overperformed what they were supposed to. Najee Harris missed it by 1, but it didn't matter. Bills doubled up, and really, that's it. I mean, I could take any 2 players, and I scored more than you with 2 players. That's a bad deal, Fat Fingers. You're not good at fantasy. You're not as bad as Rusty, and you're not as bad as Triple BJ, but you're real close. You're getting real close. I think maybe you can pull it out. I think you just need a little positivity in your life. I mean, if you want to subscribe to my fantasy analysis channel, that'll probably help you tremendously. I would have done some things different with your roster, but you could have beat some people maybe, depending on who you put in there. But then some people maybe you weren't going to beat because you really didn't have a shot. I don't know if I said I won by 100 points. That was 164 to 64. I won by 100 points. That's a lot of points. That's actually an embarrassing amount of points. golly, if there's ever like a tie for first, and somehow we get to be the same record again, and it's me and you at the top, I don't think you're not going to be first because you're not a high scoring guy. Anyway, listen, I'm going to get off here. I appreciate everybody listening in. I apologize for I wouldn't even want to play anymore, but we know sometimes you get mad and you probably after this week will be like, I hate this game, but it's fine. That's all I have. Thank you for listening to the week 3 recap. Love everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for the week 4 predictions.